he was so self-destructive about his own career, too. There's a famous story about Norm where he did a gig in Atlantic City and he got paid $60,000, all in a duffel bag, all cash. And because he was in Atlantic City, which is the gambling capital of the East Coast, and because he had such a bad gambling problem, there are stories of him backstage waiting to go on talk shows, and he's got $50,000 on a college basketball game, and he's fucking sweating, and he can't even focus on his appearance. Well, because of that, this night in Atlantic City, he took the duffel bag to the end of a pier and just threw it into the water. Because he knew that if he kept it, he would gamble it and he would lose $100,000 chasing the loss.
Sure.
Have you ever been really irresponsible with money, Ben?
Yeah, I've had to. I have a bookie. I've had to stop gambling.
Wow.
So I don't gamble anymore. But I've made stupid ass bets.
I remember you talking about on the pod one time about you betting on baseball.
Yeah,
which is really difficult.
And in California, here's the thing about that too. I'm pretty sure some of these games are rigged. Is what I figured out.
It's hard to rig baseball, but
is it?
It's
Leo,
the hardest.
That's his sport. He played baseball through college.
Oh, okay.
You could throw.
This is interesting.
You could throw. I played Division I baseball.
Okay.
Just to say.
Do it as Manny. Tell him as Manny.
You could throw the ball down the middle. Anybody, you could pitch to some guy and you could get him out, man. Anybody is a round bat with a round ball, man. You know, anything could happen, man.
And when the ball is round, the bat is wood. It's hard for the referee to figure the game.
It's hard for you. Never know what's going to happen, man. But no, for really though, that's kind of the thing. It would be hard to rig it. Now it's not like basketball where you could you could foul. You can have the ref just call fouls over and over again and rig the game like that. It would be difficult. But what is your theory?
Well, doesn't Vegas always have to win? This is what I'm thinking, because the guys at the top that are control of stuff, they always win. They don't lose, right?
Yeah, but is it a math thing maybe though?
I'm not good at math.
Yeah, I think it's just a.
They know a lot of shit. Those guys. There was.
You talking about the guys that set the lines in Vegas?
So it goes down to this. The Jesse Hiss video I did. I had a bit where I had a pickup artist character who was obsessed with when chicks were fucking bleeding, because if you know when chicks are bleeding, you can tell when they're going to be ovulating and when they're going to be the most horny, because it's going to be 2 weeks later. Well, I got that concept from Artie Lang talking about, start looking out for, I know you're married, but start maybe.
Now you have a wedding ring.
Tell your friends. Yeah. Well, you're obsessed with lemonparty.com. We got to clarify for the audience. It's to a woman. But Artie Lang said that he had a bookie buddy who called Artie Lang up in the middle of the night once. He's like, "Hey, I need you to put $20,000 on the Arizona State basketball team, women's basketball." And Artie Lang goes like, "Why, man? Why do I need to make this bet?" And he goes like, They're playing UNLV, and UNLV's bleeding."
There we go.
The bookie knew that the UNLV women's basketball team was fucking was leaking blood. We're on their period.
Those are big ladies.
Big fucking ladies.
If they're bleeding, they can't really maneuver.
They get woozy. Maybe one of them could slip.
Sure.
Absolutely. That's the level of detail that these professional bookies know. I listen to Colin Cowherd, who's like a local sports radio guy. On his podcast now, he's got a section where he talks about betting lines. And it's 30 minutes long, and he brings in these dudes. They are gnarly. They're Harvard MBA types who have just dedicated their lives to sports betting. They're like 45 years old. They all live in Brentwood, and they are throwing out like logarithmic equations and algebra. They're talking about just all kinds of shit that I can't even recall right now because it's so boring I can't retain it.
They all look like Jonah Hill in Moneyball.
Basically. Yeah, there's a good way to look at it.
They probably have horrible lives at home.
Probably.
Things probably aren't well at home.
I would agree with that. Yeah, the guys who are really into sports betting, there's long weekends in Vegas. Like, honey, I got to go out. I'm helping the Caesars handicap. They're doing something at the Caesars.
They're also a nerd, though, too. And nerds, especially guys that are into gambling, that can figure out they can see the matrix like falling rain of the sports world, So then they get tons of money, and then they're in Vegas, and then the only way they can have sex with ladies is by paying them.
There's no shame in that.
So they probably then ruin they have a Melinda Gates type lady at home. No offense to her if she watches the show.